I'm Marilee Caruso. It's Thursday, October 30th. Today. Tragedy on the field. The teenage player severely injured during a high school football game has died. Also today, opening the road.
To accommodate the growth that's going to come right in that area, we need to widen the street.
City Council votes to approve the widening of Kenaston Boulevard. Plus, doctors' orders.
There are still lots of challenges in our workforce.
Why one group says Manitoba is gaining doctors, but having trouble keeping them. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. We begin today with devastating news. The Winnipeg high school student who sustained a spinal injury during a football game earlier this month has died. The Winnipeg School Division confirmed the death of the grade 12 Sisler High School student today. The division said 17-year-old Darius Hartshorn passed away last night. In a statement, the division said, quote, "We extend our condolences to his family and friends." Now, this news comes nearly 2 weeks after Darius sustained a neck injury during a football game between Sisler and Tekvok high schools. A family member tells CTV News the injury happened on the first play of the game, calling it a bad collision and a fluke play. The school division says clinical support services will be available at Sisler. Well, it's a good news, bad news situation when it comes to the doctor shortage here in Manitoba. A new report from Doctors Manitoba shows a record-breaking amount of new doctors joined our provincial workforce last year. However, Manitoba is still well below the national average, and we lost more doctors to other provinces than we gained, the second worst result of all provinces. Joining me now live to explain is CTV's John Hendricks. So, John, what are doctors saying about the physician shortage in our province?
Marilee, Doctors Manitoba says they've had record-breaking amounts of new physicians entering the Manitoba workforce for each of the past 2 years. But that strong growth has been undercut by a lack of retention.
It's one thing to get a doctor to come to the area, but it's another to retain them.
According to a new report from Doctors Manitoba, we lose more doctors to other provinces than we gain, a loss of 8.3 physicians per 1,000. And the report has some major warning signs. Nearly half of all doctors are considering reducing their hours or leaving Manitoba in the next 3 years. 21% are thinking about retiring in the same time period. And many of the students on their way up won't be practicing here once they graduate. The Doctors Manitoba study found only 40% plan to leave or are undecided.
Even for those who are happy here and have had a really fulfilling career here, there are still lots of challenges in our workforce and in our workplaces. And for some, the amount of time and the amount of effort spent on things like paperwork and clerical duties and navigating the system versus engaging one-on-one with their patient population is just not worth it anymore.
Doctors Manitoba says frustration with issues like excessive paperwork and lack of access to equipment and facilities is a key driver of physician burnout and stress. And it believes that some of the reasons our physicians are being driven out of the province.
John, what does Doctors Manitoba think we can do to fix this problem?
Marilee, there's a number of things that they point to. They're asking the province to take action to eliminate sick notes and other administrative burdens. They want to provide doctors with broader supports and improve the environments that they work in. Now, CTV's Jeff Keel is working on this story. He'll have more on the report and the recommendations coming up at 6.
All right, thanks for this, John. Winnipeg City Councillors have voted in favor of a more than $750 million plan to expand Route 90. Today, Council voted 11-2 in favor of the Kenaston widening and St. James Bridge refurbishment projects. It will be funded solely by debt and begin no later than 2027. According to a report before City Hall, $5 million is needed to pay for property acquisitions in the area. Mayor Scott Gillingham is defending the pricey project, saying it's about unlocking the future potential of a regional trade route with huge population growth.
And so there's a lot more residential traffic on that north-south route. But also, we know that the Naui-Odina Canada Lands Treaty 1 project will see up to 3,100 residential units built right there right near the corner of Grant and Kenastim. We also know that up to 1 million square feet of commercial space will be added. And so to accommodate the growth that's going to come right in that area, we need to widen the street.
The vote was not unanimous. St. Boniface councillor Matt Allard and newly sworn in Elmwood East Kildonan councillor Emma Durand-Wood voted against it. RCMP have uncovered a stash of weapons, ammunition, cigarettes, and stolen property in southeastern Manitoba. Tuesday, officers from several RCMP teams and the St. Anne Police Department executed search warrants on 2 properties near Zoda. And this is what they found: more than 10 firearms, ammo, and over 40 cartons of unstamped cigarettes. They also recovered stolen property, including a hydraulic press and a generator worth thousands of dollars. RCMP say some of the guns had also been stolen. A 42-year-old man from Zoda is in custody facing a long list of weapons and possession of stolen property crimes, as well as failing to comply with a release order. Officers also arrested 2 women who were released with a future court date. A motion at Winnipeg City Hall is proposing planned curbside compost collection be done in-house and not contracted out to a private company. Right now, anyone unable to compost kitchen waste themselves has to drop it off at one of the city depots located throughout the city. The city plans to start curbside pickup in 2030. A motion now in front of council says the city should do all the work. The motion put forward by City Councillor Brian Mays says the city could do the work itself for a cost comparable to hiring a private company, and the city can save money through joint equipment purchases with other jurisdictions. The motion says doing the work in-house can also provide entry-level city jobs to members of disadvantaged communities. The motion still needs council approval. Well, one of the most exciting and explosive players on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is up for a pair of CFL awards.
Down, and his return by Trey Vavel across the 30, 40, 50, turns on the Jets. Vavel!
Trey Vavel ran back a league best 4 returns for touchdowns this year. He also added 25 tackles and 1 interception in his first CFL season. Vavel is the West Division finalist for Most Outstanding Rookie and Most Outstanding Special Teams Player. The CFL Awards will be handed out November 13th at Club Regent as part of the Grey Cup Festival. Vavel and the Bombers square off against the Alouettes in Montreal Saturday, with a trip to the CFL East Division final on the line.
Back to Shifley, snaps, with time running out, they say no goal. Shifley, shot, and lying down.
Meanwhile, True North Sports and Entertainment has extended its contract between the Winnipeg Jets and broadcaster TSN. It's a multi-year deal giving TSN exclusive access to cover Jets games. TSN's regional Winnipeg Jets games will be available to viewers in a designated broadcast region defined by the NHL, which includes Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Nunavut, the Northwest Territories, and parts of northwestern Ontario, including Kenora, Dryden, and Thunder Bay. TSN and CTV are both divisions of Bell Media. All right, let's bring Colleen Brady now and get a first look at our Skywatch evening forecast. What are you tracking for us tonight, Colleen?
Well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What do I mean? Well, some rain showers, but also a little bit of snow is falling in southern Manitoba, judging by what we're seeing here on the satellite radar. That was to be expected, but of course, tomorrow is not only the last day of October, merrily, it is Halloween. I will have your trick-or-treat forecast coming up. For now, though, let's take a look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, a little bit of light drizzle over our city. It's 4 degrees, light winds out of the west-northwest at 9 kilometers an hour. The pressure's dropping and the humidity is 89%. Out on the roads, or the bridges, as it were. A live look out onto the Norwood Bridge. Traffic looks uneventful there, but still quite busy. Peak of the rush going through right now.
Thanks, Colleen. A private school in southern Manitoba is closing its doors, and now they have a lot of stuff on their hands. We're going to show you what that stuff is and what they plan to do with it. Plus,
they just recognize us. They give us hugs sometimes.
Why a local group is taking to the streets with Wagons, and how you can help them improve the lives of Winnipeg's most vulnerable. Much more local news still ahead.
Have a news tip?
When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Amazon and Apple reported earnings after the end of the trading day. Let's start with the iPhone maker. iPhone revenue for the quarter was above $49 billion US. The company's getting a boost from its new model, iPhone 17, only introduced last month. Still, Apple narrowly missed the estimate, but analysts aren't too concerned. Amazon reported a strong performance for its web services. Revenue came in above $33 billion for the quarter. That's a 20% improvement from last year. The earnings report sent shares climbing in after-hours trading. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.49. West Texas Intermediate crude slightly up to 60.57. Western Canadian Select is up to 48.19, and the TSX gained 34 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Market Watch is brought to you by Manitoba Blue Cross. Group health plans for any size business.
The Toronto Blue Jays are now just one win away from winning the World Series after crushing the Dodgers last night, and it all started with a bang.
Here he comes, an off goal in Game 5 with a fastball that's hit in the air to deep left field. Call to the track. It's on the first pitch of Game 5. Very first pitch, and now Vlad Jr. hooks the ball down the left field line. They've gone back-to-back to start Game 5.
Davis Schneider and Vlad Jr. made history by cranking out 2 home runs back-to-back to open this game against the Dodgers. And then Trey Savage took care of the rest. The right-hander was dominant as Toronto rolled to a 6-1 win. He also set a rookie record with 12 strikeouts and no walks in just his 8th career big league start. Well, you may have seen them in downtown Winnipeg, a group of volunteers pulling around wagons full of food and other essentials and handing them out to unsheltered or vulnerable people. They call themselves Urban Wagons.
It was a group of concerned Winnipeggers who thought that downtown community members needed a little bit of help, so we started with a ladle of soup, 3 wagons, and winter clothing gear, and we just started giving it out, and we helped over 90 community members the first day, and we were just impressed, and we just kept it going.
The nonprofit's been pulling wagons around downtown for 3 years. With the weather getting colder, the group is asking for donations and helping hands. Besides food, they need things like water, gloves, socks, soap, and shampoo. Founder Ryan Frick says the work is making a real difference in people's lives.
They just recognize us. They give us hugs sometimes. They thank us. Sometimes they're extremely emotional as well. They haven't eaten for weeks, or we had someone that said they hadn't eaten for weeks, so they were just crying in our arms last week when we were out.
They also give out maps which direct people to resources like food banks and shelters. The group meets Monday nights at 6 at the Tim Hortons parking lot at Fort and Graham. If you want to donate or volunteer, you can visit urbanwagons.ca.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
Local curlers have a chance to be swept up in a movie being shot here in Winnipeg. See how you can be an extra in the film next in the Spotlight.
Spotlight sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Serena Ryder, the Merry Myths Tour.
Colleen Brady is back now for Spotlight, and if you ever wanted to be in a movie, now could be your big opportunity.
That's right. A film production coming to our city is looking for some background actors to appear in the movie, but there's a catch. You have to know how to curl. The production, called Sticks and Stones, is looking for actual curlers of all ages. You won't just be sitting around at the rink. You will be what they call a special skills extra. They want active curlers who ideally are on a team or in a league with their own gear. The casting directors are also looking for athletic-looking people, along with people of Korean and Slavic backgrounds. And there will be roles for people with 1990s looks, Marilee, so mullets and perms, Bring them on. If you're interested, go to nextcasting.ca.
Sounds like fun.
It does.
All right. If you're looking for something free to do on Sunday, you might want to check out the Winnipeg Art Gallery.
That's right. The WAG is opening its doors to the public with free admission. The WAG, in partnership with Canada Life, offers free admission on the second Sunday of each month. But for November, it's a week earlier on November 2nd. It's because there's a special craft show and sale happening at the gallery the weekend after. Free Sundays offers art, culture, and programming for families between 11 and 5. And there's a special doll making workshop in the Skylight Gallery. For more information about free Sundays and other events at the Art Gallery, visit wag.ca.
This weekend, you will have an opportunity to go back to the future.
You sure will. The classic Michael J. Fox movie is being re-released in Winnipeg theaters.
I'm from the future. I came here in a time machine that you invented. Right, go!
It may be really hard to believe, Marilee, but this is the 40th anniversary for Back to the Future. After its release on July 3rd, 1985, it was the #1 movie in theaters for 11 of its first 12 weeks. Back to the Future is now regarded as a classic, of course, and it spawned 2 sequels, a cartoon, which ran for 2 seasons, and a number of video games.
Such a good movie.
It really is.
All right, thanks, Colleen.
You're welcome. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with Hell's Kitchen. 911 Nashville is on at 8, and Grey's Anatomy is next at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV. A live look at Portage Avenue in front of Polo Park, east and westbound, and that bright billboard there. Traffic moving well, but you can see still quite busy for folks making their way west into St. James. Little drizzle right now. I will have your full forecast, including a look at Halloween, coming up.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
2 high school football giants battled it out yesterday during the JV-12 championships. The championship showdown was between the Oak Park Raiders and Dakota Lancers. The cup went to the Raiders, who had a perfect season. Raiders won that one 48-12. And the Quad A Bramwell Bowl went to Brandon's Crocus Plains Plainsmen. They won 30-12 against the Sturgeon Heights Huskies. Finally, in the JV-9 semifinals, Miles Mack beat out Crocus Plains 32-13, and Grant Park won 30-6 over Vincent Massey. Varsity football playoffs continue today.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
All right, for those football teams battling it out in the field tonight, bundle up, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the outside chance we could see some showers come through. There's a much stronger chance, though, if you are in the southwest, you're seeing not just showers. You might even see a little bit of flurry activity happening right now, or some snow. I'm going to zoom in on that area. Places like, look at this, Deloraine. It looks like you had a little bit of light snow come through your area. In behind Hartney, Verdon, some rain falling. But Verdon, you're on the cusp of seeing a little bit of light snow in your region as well, and closer to the Saskatchewan border. This is not entirely unexpected. We thought we might see a bit of both today. This is actually a pretty quick moving little clipper system, and clippers by nature move pretty quickly, so this isn't going to last too long. But yeah, when you start to see that white stuff, and we're not even into November yet, which again is not unheard of in Manitoba, but somehow it's always just gives you a little bit of a jump, doesn't it? Well, we get into the evening ahead, and you see how this rain sort of arcs back right into the southeastern corner of the province. That's why we can't entirely rule out precipitation here in Winnipeg tonight, and maybe even a bit of a flurry activity over the city ourselves here into very early Friday morning. Meanwhile, you see not much action up in the north, pretty dry there. Actually, a little bit of sun for the most northern part of the province for Halloween. For those trick-or-treaters heading out in the north, it should be dry. For you here in the south, we cannot entirely rule out precipitation, but it does look like the odds are pretty low. So here's a look at those trick-or-treating hours. Overnight, we start to clear out as we get into the weekend ahead. But for tonight, for Winnipeg, Thursday night down to 2 with that chance of showers or flurries overnight. Light winds out of the northwest at 10 kilometers an hour at their strongest. Tomorrow, Halloween, chance of showers or flurries in the morning, and then that chance starts to peter out in the afternoon. Even in the morning, it's not a strong chance. Just don't be surprised if you see a flake or two. 5 degrees is our high tomorrow. And here is your trick-or-treat forecast for those primetime trick-or-treating hours of 5, 6, and 7 p.m. Cloudy, Temperature steady right around 4 degrees, again, with that low, maybe even slight chance of showers. So just keep that in mind. If you're still trying to pick a costume, do pick a warm one because it will be cool out there. 4 degrees, and it will be getting dark too after 6 o'clock. 5 is our high on Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud. Rain is possible on Sunday, but so too is a mix of sun and cloud, and a warm high of 10 degrees. Will be in November at that point. Monday, bright and sunny, 9 degrees, 7 on Tuesday, cloudier in the afternoon, 6 on Wednesday, under a mix of sun and cloud. Our weather photos take us first out to beautiful Lac du Bonnet. That photo is from Randy looking out onto the water there. Gorgeous sun. And look at the colors in this beautiful photo. This is from Joanna looking out onto the Lee River. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
The CTV Skywatch Pick of the Day is brought to you by the Manitoba Chiropractors Association. We've got your back.
More than 100 years worth of history is going under the hammer as a private school in southern Manitoba closes its doors.
There's so many things in a school that has to go somewhere, and what better place than back in the hands of those who made the memories here.
When officials decided to close Mennonite Collegiate Institute in Gretna due to low enrollment, they realized they had a lot of stuff on their hands, and by a lot they mean more than 1,200 items dating back decades, which are now up for grabs via an online auction. They include grad photos, trophies, sports banners, uniforms, yearbooks, and much more.
Because the community is so large with a history going back so many decades, we didn't want to just reach out to a few local people that we knew personally and offer it to them. We wanted it to, everyone to have a fair chance at it. And so the goal wasn't to raise piles of money. Whether an item goes for $4 or $400 is irrelevant. We just wanted to go back to someone who has a memory and a care for that item.
CEO Chris Harms says there's also a trove of historical artifacts, most of which will be going to the Manitoba Archives. Bidding goes until Tuesday, and if you're interested, we have much more details up on our website. Just go to ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Pretty cool.
I like that cookie cookbook.
I bet there's
intriguing.
Some good secrets in there. Yeah. That one might have a few bidders on it.
Maybe in some yearbooks there's some secrets there too.
You never know. All right, that does it for this hour, but we'll be back at 6 o'clock with much more local news. Hope you'll join us.